Enough is enough.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Indie Wrestling Corner with another episode of Under the Ropes. I'm your host as always, the Queen of the Indies, and I've been bringing back a bunch of guests that I've had on the channel. So we had to do an update, with my good friend Alex Cologne. How are ya?
What's going on? I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to have you here. Oh, it's so funny. I just brought up Sky and she's in the chat. Hey. That's so funny. How are ya? So guys, if you're new to the Under the Rope series, here I interview everything independent wrestling, whether it's wrestlers, promoters, referees, behind the scenes. I got you covered. If you guys hit that like button, share button, get some people into the chat for me. If you guys got questions for Alex, feel free, drop them into the chat. He'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions.
Definitely.
So I think it's been like 2 years since I've actually had you on the podcast, because I think you were more of like the beginning of when I first started doing a lot of the interviews with, the independent scene, which is great. So there's so much to talk about, I feel like, with you. So we could like catch up on that. So, let's start off big, because I feel like this is like really important. It's a huge moment that happened. I mean, let's talk Hammerstein, like GCW. This was a big moment for independent wrestling as a whole, never mind as GCW. So I'd love to hear, what it meant for you, like everything. Give me the rundown, like give me the experience of it.
It's a huge deal. I mean, in a lot of levels, because I'm normally you won't see me in New York City wrestling too much, because
Yeah.
obviously with the commission, I can't really do with what I'm good at doing in New York City. So it's definitely a rare occasion to see me out there. But just in general, like that's ECW territory. It's WWF territory, and GCW came in and did something a lot of independents haven't done, and probably will not do for the nearsighted future.
But that was cool. Like, I mean, as a whole, the fans, like the wrestlers running into people that, even if they weren't on the card, just being there to be supportive for everybody. The matches were great. Like, it was a lot. It was
Yeah.
it was a lot to take in. So I tell everybody that I'm like, man, I was like being there, actually being there and experiencing like GCW in that building. It was a lot. Yeah,
It,
definitely a
it
lot.
was it was special, definitely a high point, 100%.
Awesome. Let me give some love into the chat. Johnny says hi, Alex. Sky
What's
says
going on?
hi. She said, looking forward to meet Alex when he comes over to UK. If my nerves don't get the best of me, looking forward to
Nah,
this one. Not long back from wrestling training myself, so I'll be making notes as I watch. Awesome. So,
you'll do better than the weather, trust me, because the weather kept me out of the UK for the last trip. But
oh
this
man.
trip coming up, I'm hoping the weather's a little bit more forgiving.
Yeah. Oh man. So you are going back. I mean, you are going to go to
Yes,
UK next month, you said. So
yes.
tell us a little bit about that. I mean, you've been to UK before, correct? Or no?
I have, yes, but a very long time ago, around 2012, 2013. I think it was 2012-ish. I went there for a small little tour with CZW at the time,
Mhm.
and I was still very young into the business. And now I'm an old man, so I guess it's a little bit different. And I'm able to come over, and I loved England the first time coming
Mhm.
over,
Mhm.
more so than a lot of other people. Some people were just ready to go home. I was like, nope, I can stay longer. But I actually get to come back next month for TNT. I wasn't in the tournament, unfortunately. The weather
Yeah.
kept me out, but I think Clint Margera, their champion, won the tournament, so he called me out, and a challenge is a challenge, and I'm gonna go there and win myself a belt in the UK.
Ooh, like it. I like it. Is there like a place that, you want to go back to when you go over there, maybe like a food wise or something that you're like, damn, I got to make sure I go there.
No, not that I could think of. I hear a
Mhm.
lot of people talk about this Nando's place.
Mhm.
I've heard it for years, but I've never had it.
Mhm.
So maybe that, or oh, they have these little carts when I was in Wolverhampton, they had these little donut carts.
Mhm.
Oh my God. If I see one of those, it's on. I'm gonna get my fat boy on.
I love it. Make sure you take a lot of pictures and like post that. Like I like seeing when you guys like travel outside of the states, like you showing like the places that you eat at, or that stuff is fun. I enjoy those photos and videos from you guys. Johnny says, "Hey Alex, what was your Takeda moment in GCW with news of him retiring to raise his kids as a single dad?"
Like what? What was my most memorable moment? Maybe
Yeah,
is they saying
yeah.
probably our first match. Because it was just like I've never got a chance to really test myself like that, and to be able to go in there with somebody I've never met from another country who barely speaks English and be able to have a match like that with them was something really special. And obviously we've wrestled each other multiple times, and we kind of have this weird like rivalry bond.
Hmm.
And even though we speak two different languages, like it's just this weird connection we have. And I can completely, being a dad, I can understand to a degree what he's going through. Not really, but to some degree. So I want to be able to not only help him out really, but help his family out, because I know it's a very tough time for him and his family. And I hope that everybody that's in the chat right now, and everybody in social media land, and all the fans and all my friends can really like join in and participate. We're going to be accepting donations. I'm going to be putting the link up within the next day, and then I'm going to start posting auction pieces that people are sending me, and we're gonna get that rolling. It's all for Takeda. I'm gonna probably make my own side donation as well, because I want to be able to donate outside of probably auction stuff, just because I feel like the guy's done a lot for the genre, and for death matches in general, and it's definitely a great time to support guys like him who really have given us some of the most memorable moments and matches in probably the last decade and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to bring that. That was going to be one of my questions I was going to ask about this auction. Like, what are you looking for? When is this going to happen? Like, give us a little more information about that.
So the auction is going to happen on the 22nd of this month. It's so soon, but we really wanted to do it as soon as possible and try to help them out as soon as we possibly could. So we'll be going live probably later in the day around 7:30, 8 o'clock ish on the 22nd. Like I said, I'm going to post auction pieces ahead of time. So this weekend I'm going to start posting stuff that's been sent to me, or some of the stuff is going to be shipped directly from wrestlers just to make it easier. So not everyone has to ship stuff to me and then have to ship stuff out.
Right,
I
right.
have, and I'm on board, so I have a bunch of stuff I'm going to be auctioning. Clint Margera sent me some stuff that he wants to send directly to whoever wins his auction off. Sadie Suicide sent me some stuff. A couple fans, Lauren Rosenberg sent me some programs signed by BJW talent that he is sending to me currently, which I think will be a very big piece. One of my guys, Rob Craig, sent me some stuff that'll be auctioned off. Sick Nick Mondo told me he was going to send me some stuff, so thank God for that. Sick Nick Mondo's a legend, and I think
Yeah.
a lot of people bite on whatever he signs and sends to me to be auctioned off. I know Chris Dickinson's on board, Tony Deppin. I'm trying to get Matt Tremont on board. There's a few people I'm still trying to get in on it. Ricky Shane Page sent me a piece. Atticus Cogar sending me a piece. Eric Ryan sending me a piece.
Wow.
Schlack sending me a piece. We're going to have DMDU, Joel from DMDU. He has a piece of the canvas from their dream tournament. He's going to have everybody who's in the tournament sign it and send it to me.
Wow.
So that's going to be on auction. There's going to be a lot of stuff on auction. I was talking to Stephen A, who he's going to be joining me on the live auction. And I was like, I wonder how long this is going to take, but I'm down. Listen, I'm down for the ride.
Yeah.
I really do want to make some type of not just financial impact, but an impact in general, to show Takeda that he has the support of everybody, not just in Japan, but in America and the UK, and as a community, wrestling in general, regardless if it's deathmatch or not. We can all come together and understand that we can not just be friends in this community, but we can also be family, and we can
Yeah.
support family, and that's what it's all about.
I love that. I mean, like a lot of people always talk about like, it's a family, like you're part of the family. And like I just, I hear it so much. I mean, I get it too. Like a lot of the people over at H2O, they tell me the same thing. They're like, you're part of the family, you're part of the family. And I'm like, I think it's so amazing to see that. And like I know I don't even see nothing compared to how you guys are with each other and just like looking out for each other. And it's such a beautiful thing. More love in this chat. Nick Papa G, he's in here. He said thanks for the house, bud.
Papa Giorgio.
David Russell says, hey, Sky wants to say, where is it? I'm gonna do whatever I can to get to a show. Let me know if there's any figures you need.
I have no clue what's exclusive to the UK, so I don't know. If you could figure it out, surprise me. If not, no big deal. Everyone showing up to the shows that I'm at, it just means more than anything, because I'm so excited about coming back to the UK, which is why I'm going back next month, but I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit more. But in April, after I come back from Australia, I have some dates booked for literally the week after, the week after. So like the second week after, I'll be in England for a week and 2 weekends. So I'll be there to have a good time, wrestle some great matches, meet some great fans. It'll be fun.
Oh my goodness. How do you guys deal with like the travel? I get stressed out. Like I'm going to Massachusetts from New York tomorrow, and then I'm going to Jersey to go see Steve Mack's show, and I'm like, damn, I was like, this is a lot mentally for me. But you guys like literally like you get on the planes, you get on the cars, you go from one venue to the next venue. Like that's got to take a toll on you. And me being friends with a lot of wrestlers, I see it's like, oh, I'm drained. I have my shoot job, and then I'm wrestling on the weekends, and then you're traveling and all that. Like how is that for you guys?
It's not easy. I know traveling internationally makes it even more stressful because unfortunately, although I didn't get to go to England because of the weather with this past trip, I still had to do all the paperwork because you have to file for like some person identification form thing. Like if they give you this number and all this stuff, you have to be able to present to them. I had to fill out all the visa information, print that all out. I had to fill out a bunch of other stuff for my flights, do all my baggage stuff, get all the flight stuff figured out. It was stressful, and it got canceled. And I was like, man, I did all that work. I'm gonna have to do it again next month. So it's like, it's crazy. It's it's rough.
Man, see, like you don't know like everything that's like entailed. Like you guys bust your ass to entertain us. Like I always say thank you. Because it's a lot. So I'm gonna go like all over the place with my questions or whatever like that. But one of the things that I was like, when I was like, okay, when we secured our interview, I was like, the one thing I was like, I want to talk to him about, I was like, is weapon making, because I was like, this is funny. Like, but I feel like we never really actually got into this conversation before, and now I've actually got to witness you over at H2O making stuff too. So just like the art of it, like, and again, even me being at Destiny, like watching things being made, I'm like, wow, like you don't realize how long some of this stuff takes, and like where do you come up with these ideas, and it's nuts. So give us a little bit about that.
A lot of the general stuff you see obviously has been passed down. It's just been refined throughout the years. Just knowing how far to stick a blade out, so like obviously it'll cut you, but it's not gonna completely destroy you. There's things like that. It's just it's a lot of innovation that's been created by guys like Eugene, that whole crew, Shawnee. Those guys really were the ones who stamped in the whole weapon making thing, and just there being an art form. And then you have guys in Japan that's a whole different idea. So out in the US we have specific people like I'll go to Big Vin all the time, because Big Vin's like the guy to go to if I'm like, dude, how do I build this? What do I do, Big Vin? And Big Vin will be like, oh, I have it. I mean, outside of Big Vin being a secretly great wrestler that nobody pays attention to half the time.
Aw.
He did win a Hammerstein.
He
Win a
did.
Hammerstein. So
He did.
that's a big deal. That means he's on the come up.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna have to find somebody else to help me build stuff. But like he's the guy I go to when I'm not sure how to build something, and then he'll just draw something up and be like, oh, I have it. We'll get it done. I'm like, oh man, amazing. So like guys like that keep the weapons building thing going. I mean, and unfortunately in Japan they don't have people like that.
Yeah.
We went to Japan and they were just building their own weapons. It was crazy. They just gave us stuff. They're like, here you go, build your weapon.
Oh wow.
Wow, yeah.
Oh wow.
But good thing for me. I was in CCW. I started in 2007, and the first year or two, I basically spent doing security, helping build weapons, helping put up the rings. So I pretty much am a jack of all trades when it comes to that type of stuff. So if I need a knife board built, or I need bundles or whatchamacallit, or anything like razor blades and stuff like that, I can basically do that on my own at this point.
What was like the craziest like weapon you created?
I don't know. I built a bundle for me and Akira in Chicago. I built 2 bundles, and I had steak knives strapped in between the bundles. Kind of dangerous. But thankfully he only got minorly cut with one. It wasn't like terribly like horrendously cut. He had a little hole in him, but I mean it could have been worse.
Just a little or whatever. I think it's funny because when you were here the last time that we did our interview, I was saying to you that I wanted to watch you and Akira wrestle, and you guys hadn't got into the ring. And then within a few weeks after the podcast, here it was, you guys got to wrestle. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's so funny. I was like, I kind of threw it out into the air, and then it actually happened. So much love to Akira. Mark Leslie says, any Scottish dates when you hit the UK? And he puts his little eyes emojis.
None at the moment. I would love to. Like I've been saying on social media, hey, let the promoters of those promotions know you want to see me. I'm sure if there's enough buzz, they'll reach out. Like I have a couple of contacts. So within the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be reaching out to certain promoters. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to hit every avenue, but if there's somebody directly you want to see me wrestle for, I mean, the worst you can do is hit it up on Twitter, and if it gets a little traction, I can hit them up, or they can hit me up, and we could try to make it happen.
There you go, Mark. Make it happen. Make it happen. See, this is why even like people who podcast and being on social media, you have to make some traction for it. Things happen that way. So I feel like I put things out in the air, and things happen a lot.
So hey, social media has its uses.
Yes.
I mean, there's a day and age. Like, I don't know how they did it. In the 90s, it was like you must have had a list of people you were going to contact. But nowadays, a lot of times, fans will just hit up promoters. Like, I had it happen already a couple of times, but I haven't locked in every date for England yet. And they'll reach out to me and be like, hey, it seems like there's some traction. Would you be interested in coming in? Yes. And then you figure it out from there. Social media is a great tool because now fans can make it be known that they want to see this person in this promotion, and that just gets the attention in the eyes of the promoter, because not always is that going to be their main focus is, I have to bring this guy in. They're kind of worried about their business at that moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, use social media the right way, not the negative way.
Yes, please.
Which we'll get into later, because I have a question that we're going to go into like later into this interview. But so pretty much, I mean, obviously, you know this, and like everybody that knows me, like you're my favorite deathmatch wrestler. And, like I said, that it's another year, that you won Tournament of Survival. Hopefully we'll get like another year this year. So you have that great record, no one else more deserves it than you, so, maybe another year, you're going to continue the streak.
Don't anger people. You're gonna there's a whole slew of people who do not want to see me win for a fourth time.
Oh my god, like relax. I'm here for it.
I think you, me, and Dorito and Lauren Rosenberg will be the only ones that want to see me win a fourth time. So hey, I'm going for a fourth, regardless if anyone likes it or not. And there's gonna be a lot of people who aren't. Trust me, I hear it all the time. Like, even my friends are like, don't you think people are tired of seeing you win all the time? I'm like, Yeah, but don't you think people were tired of seeing John Cena win all the time? Didn't stop him from being John Cena, did it? Nope. So I'm gonna keep being Alex Colon. It ain't gonna stop.
We're gonna name it after you. We're gonna change the name, and we're just gonna change it to your name. That's it, because you're just gonna win like every year, you know. But oh man, I love the tournaments. I went from Chris is in the chat. He goes, yes, Fort Ty, let's go. So
Yeah,
see,
let's go.
people want to
I'm
see
in.
it. People want to see it. I remember like I went to I think it was your third win. I think that was my first tournament of survival, like to see in person, you know. And for someone in the beginning of like watching wrestling in the indies and scared of deathmatch wrestling to like me being all for it with light tubes and everything like that, I'm like, okay, I'm ready for it. I was so excited, and I didn't have front row tickets because I think we decided late, so we couldn't get front row, because I'm always in that front row in all these deathmatch tournaments. Like, I am with it. I'm just like,
You gotta have one of them clear garbage bags. I don't understand why people don't do this. Maybe I honestly think some people like to be hit with glass, because I can recall at NGI, I screamed at a couple people in the front row because I was like hitting Akira or somebody with light tubes, and it was showering people, and I just looked at the guys. I'm like, hey, you might want to cover up, and they just gave me a dirty look. And I was like, all right, I guess not, and I just kept hitting them. Like, oh well, like if that's what you want, that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah, like I'm all for. I want to be front row. Like now I'm prepared. Like when you like wrestling and don't know anything about deathmatch wrestling, and you go in blind. And I tell this story with oh god, what was his name? It was out in NYWC, and Johnny Malloy. And I told him the story at the bar, and it was like after one of the shows. I think it was a Full Faith Wrestling show or SWA show. I don't remember. We went to the bar after, and I was sitting with him, and I'm like, listen, I was like, let me tell you a story, because it was like years later, and I was like, I remember. I was like, I wasn't prepared, and skewers came out, and I literally got up and I walked out of the promotion because I didn't know this existed. And he was dying, and he told me that he got in so much trouble because they weren't supposed to do that. So I was like, I wasn't prepared. Now I'm all for it. Frank from GoPro Wrestling gave me goggles at one. Yes. I think it was Tournament of Survival. Because I was sitting front row. He's like, are you sitting front row? I was like, fuck yeah. I was like, I'm sitting front row. Smash me with light tubes. I'm like, I want it. And then I remember, like, I think it was your match. I think it was with Drew Parker, was it? And then, I don't know, a light tube went flying at me. And I caught it in the arm. I got sliced. And then Brett came over to me. He's like, you good? I was like, I'm fucking good. I was like, I'm good.
Not everybody's squeamish.
I'm with it.
That's a good thing.
I'm like, I don't care, you know.
I mean, if you have front row, you pretty much kind of know you're signing yourself up for something. I tell people this all the time, like, you're front row at a show that's gonna have a death match, and if you're not moving back, you're going to be showered with something at some point. It's just the way it is, man.
Yeah.
If I was a fan, I would know exactly what I was getting into, being front row in a show with a death match in it.
Oh yeah, like me, like I'm used to it now, so I'm like, I want to be in all the action. I was like, I want to see the smashing right in front of me with the tubes and darts and all that crazy shit. But yeah, you should know. So even Sky said in the chat that I warned her for her first deathmatch tournament. Yeah, I was like, if you're gonna be front row, make sure you wear long pants, long sleeves, like get ready, cover your face. Now I just know, like, usually if I know the glass is gonna shatter in my way, I'm throwing my arm up against my eyes.
You need one of those nifty, those face coverings that everybody's been wearing for pandemic. Yeah. Like, you just need one of those in general for death matches, because it covers your whole front of your face. And like, glass flies, you're good.
I'm gonna make one. I'm gonna get one, and I'm gonna bedazzle it. Because
the shield. Bedazzled shield. That's crazy.
I won't be forgotten there.
Oh,
man.
At all.
Mark Axe is in the chat. Do you remember the first time you took something in a death match, and how did it feel?
Yes. I did a hardcore match with Danny Havoc a couple years prior, but when I actually did my first death match with light tubes, we did something where, like, I went to block with the light tube over my head, and then he smashed it. He smashed both light tubes on top of my head, and then, me being fresh blood, obviously it was just covered, and it was almost like a moment of shock. I didn't know how to really receive it. Mm-hmm. It was a very strange feeling. And afterwards, I was completely drained. But I think after you do it so many times, you kind of become used to what to expect, and you become used to the feeling of the shock, I guess, of it all. But when you're like, and you'll see this with a lot of guys who are newer into the genre, like their first couple death matches, they're just trying to like get their footing, and you can kind of tell by just the way they pace themselves and the way they react to some of the more gruesome parts that are being done upon them.
My goodness, old pro now, old pro.
Yeah.
I feel like last summer was such a good year at the Showboat. I just feel like with GCW, like as a whole. And I'm always going to talk about your match with Atticus, your second match with Atticus, one of my favorites. And I know me and my best friend Brad, we were saying like your first match with Atticus was great, and we just felt like your second match was like, we were like, how are you going to hit the bar even higher than your first match? And it did. And maybe maybe it also played with the fact that we were there to witness that.
Yeah.
But everything about this match, of like the mat coming up, like it was you guys going around the ring, all the freaking light tubes that were, oh my god, the circle, the spear of light tubes that you put Atticus in it, and then you hit him. Like I have that like video that I took, and I was just like, damn, I was like, I'm just loving all these light tubes. But you guys had like really great chemistry. I mean, I don't know if there's like more that you want to like add to this match with you and Atticus.
No, it was a really good match, but it's always the story. Like I don't think it was, because we did a couple spots in there where people are gonna remember, but I think it was just the story of the whole tournament. Like I think every match, at least everybody in the tournaments, in the matches themselves, kind of had their little stories going on. Then you had the bigger story of can I make that three-peat? And I think that it was just a huge thing. It just elevated it over the top, outside of just the fact that it was a deathmatch tournament, and the fact that there was tons of death matches. It was more than that. There's a story to everything, so it made people become way more invested in the show.
It was really, really, really good. If you have not watched this match, go back and watch this match. But yeah, I feel like last summer had like so many great moments, so many great matches. Like, again, like I said, maybe it's the fact that I'm being a little biased because I was there and I watched a lot of the shows there. But again, if you've never been to, the Showboat for GCW, you have to go. Like, take the flight in from wherever you are. Go. Yeah. It's definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you'll have a good time. It's Atlantic City. You could gamble. I'm sure there's some spots they could go to after the show. During the show, if you're gonna be that risky. But then you have the show, you have everything involved in that, and then it's Atlantic City. So I mean, it's almost a vacation all in itself.
Yeah, definitely worth the trip if you haven't gone. So let's talk H2O, because obviously H2O is very special to me. I love it there. So obviously you've worked there for regular shows. I mean, you've worked a lot of Sean Henderson shows. So tell us some of your special moments for you.
Winning the Hardcore Kingdom, the first one, was a real special deal, because I remember they kind of wanted Danny Havoc to win, and I think it was between him and a few the guys in the locker room, the veterans at the time, and they were like, Alex is the next guy coming up. We need to put him up now, because now's like the right time. And I mean, that, if you think about it, that kind of like started everything for me. And that to me is like that's what makes H2O so special to me, is they kind of like, they were there for me when I really didn't have much going on, before I had my little breakout moments, and then even before that, it was like right time, right place for H2O, at least for me. And I got to hold their title, which was a big deal. And I mean, look at them now; they're really on the come up. They have a lot of things going on. I mean, you have, and also Sean. We could talk about Henderson. My love for Sean Henderson is beyond belief. Like, he's just a great person in general, and anytime he brings me in, like, I always keep in the back of my head, I want to do my best to give him something to look forward to when it comes to his promotion and just what he's trying to do, because he's putting enough belief to bring me in, because that's time, that's money. Like, anytime I know someone's investing time, money, into me outside of our friendship, because like I have love for H2O, I have love for Henderson, Tremont, and the rest of those guys. Anytime I'm being brought into Williamstown to do anything for any of the both companies, like I want it to be special, which is why I had that match with Colby Carino at the Henderson show, which I thought was a really awesome match. If anyone hasn't seen it, check it out. It was pretty crazy. And anytime I come into H2O, I come in and try to give 130%, 150%. Like that's a very special area, such a special place for me. So I just feel very strongly about those people.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, that barbed wire, that like I don't even know what to call it. That big thing of barbed wire. Like I remember like seeing it, and I was like helping out like before I was doing some backstage stuff, and I remember I saw that big pile of like barbed wire. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, what is this? I was like,
it was a blood war.
This is a good time right here.
Yeah.
Pretty much. No, I love everybody over at H2O. Sean's amazing. He puts together such a great card, and I told him when I did one of the backstage interviews with him that and it's up on the channel, so if you guys like want to learn a little bit more, definitely go check out any Sean Henderson like on the Indie Talks episodes. And I did like a little backstage with him, and I was like, I gotta tell you, I was like, you know, obviously like I know everybody over at H2O. I was like, but the nice thing I said about your promotion is I said you bring in sometimes names that I didn't even know existed. And I was like, and I become such a big fan, I was like, of these people that you bring in that I didn't know, you know? So that's one of the nice things, that Sean's got an eye for talent, and I'll always tell him that, like he really does, and he puts together some great matches. Hey, John Campbell, how are ya? This guy says I have to take her to Atlantic City if she comes here. Yes, I'm gonna take you everywhere if you come over to the States. I'm gonna show you, you know, the New York, New Jersey, pretty much, and New England scene. I'll show you around over here. So I have fan tweets from my friend Carl, who's a huge fan of you. He goes, I want to know more about the War Games match. How did you prepare for it? The atmosphere in the room, where you were in there.
I think it just like everything before that was always preparation. When it comes to things like that, I just think like the things that I'm doing currently at the moment before those type of things happen, I think that's just all preparation in general, just all the death matches I've been in, the big crowds I've worked in front of, and the chemistry that I have with all those guys. Like I've pretty much been in the ring with most of those guys in a one-on-one situation, so it wasn't too hard for me to know what to expect in that match. And that's my first big time War Games match, but I've been in other War Games type matches for smaller promotions and other promotions around the country, so it's not like my first rodeo in that style of match. But it was a big deal. I could literally remember after the match, I think we were all celebrating, and then Brett like passes by me as he's trying to corral us to get to the back because it was getting rowdy out there. He's like, "Take it in, boys. This is history right here." And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it was a real special moment.
There's a lot of real special moments, man. Like even like the Hall of Fame that was going on like recently, what GCW did, you know, as the, you know, for the indies as a whole, like a lot of special moments. Like I feel like the last year has been like really hot in the indies. I mean,
yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say GCW especially. I mean, when everything shut down, they were still running, and even up to this point now, I think a lot of promotions are starting back up. PWG starting back up. Ring of Honor's getting ready to come back. A lot of other smaller indie promotions are running more shows now.
Yeah.
You know, so like it's like the competition and the playing field's going to be widened again. So it's like going to be interesting to see how GCW rebounds after this big show in Hammerstein. Like what happens next, you know? And right. I think that's the question in everybody's heads and minds. So someone who wrestles there, I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen next, because they are always pulling something out of their sleeve.
Yeah, and then you got the JCW and then the LA Vites. Like, you got a lot of great things coming up, especially with all these like new upcoming talent. It gives that spotlight for all the new kids, which is great. And you know, I've been loving everything there as well, which is so fun. So definitely, if you guys aren't checking out those promotions either, definitely look into that. So Carl's other question, he said, also from the show, what was it like in the locker room when Moxley came out and defeated Cardona for the championship? And does he think he will get a Cologne versus Moxley match?
I'd hope so. I mean, I guess we can only wait and see. I mean, I wish I could guarantee something like that. It'd be amazing. I'm always looking for big matches like that. I feel like that's just ways for me to prove myself. Because I'm always asking myself, what's next after the next big thing? All right, what do I do now?
Yeah.
But the atmosphere when Mox was in there, I think it at that point was pretty normal.
Mm-hmm.
I think when he came around that first time, and did the bid the first time before he won the title, huge deal, I guess people were talking about. But he's someone I was used to seeing anyway before that. When I was in CCW, before he was in WWE, I was around for that. So it was just Mox is just Mox to me. So I don't think about it in that kind of way. I think for the most part, the GCW locker room is pretty professional when we have bigger name talent in there, like Jeff Jarrett, which Jeff Jarrett's super awesome.
Yeah.
I had great interactions with Jeff Jarrett. So like people like that, Sean Waltman's another one. I got to pick Sean Waltman's brain for about 5 minutes after the Hammerstein ladder match, and he's awesome. So, the locker room at GCW is just we're super professional. Everybody likes to have a good time, but like no one's going to show their ass, or no one's going to be, quote unquote, I don't want to say marking out, because that, I feel like such a diss sometimes to people, but like no one's going to be overly excited. Like we're fanboys of all the people that we see come in, but we're all pretty professional. We've all been trained properly to know not to be overly exaggerating with our mannerisms as somebody walks into the building. Sometimes we don't get them played. If something catches me off guard, you'll probably see me in the back of the crowd somewhere, like sneaking a peek and jumping up and down.
That's gotta be fun though. Like again, like you said, like Hammerstein, like how cool is that? Did you like think that would happen? Like Jeff Jarrett, like here he is in GCW. Like who thought that? Strange. Yeah, that's
so strange, but I think it's a great move because it's just very unexpected.
Right.
Like that's just and I mean, clearly he could still move around the ring, so it wasn't like you were bringing in somebody that barely could move. Like he was still moving in the ring pretty gingerly. Yeah. So I mean, that's only good for business.
Yeah. No, it was really, really cool to see. So, but just like you said, and even like I was saying earlier to someone, I was like, now, I do these interviews and a lot of these guys, like even like you and, other people that I've had on the podcast, maybe like, episode 1, I was nervous to meet people and talk to people and like talk to people backstage. And now it's like, I feel like, okay, well, I see you guys, like, like I interact with you guys, whether it's at the shows or if I'm backstage doing backstage stuff for the channel, so it's like, you're just like me. And I think I finally like got over that fear of like, okay, you guys really are just like me, like pretty much, like you're just here entertaining us, that's pretty much what it is. So yeah. Too funny.
I mean, hey, you do it for so long, it becomes less of a questionnaire and more of a conversation.
Yeah, that's why it's so fun. So I know Sky messaged me, so she feels a little better now, like when she meets you. So if she comes to meet you in UK, I can't throw her to the bus to you because I'm not coming. But if she was here, I would throw her under the bus because I'm pretty bad like that. And I always love telling the story with Jewel, well, Jewel, and she was so nervous, and I just did the podcast, like this was last year, I think, no, 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, something like almost 2 years ago. And I remember I did the interview with John Wayne Murdoch, and she was like, I want to meet him, and I was like, all right, let's go meet him. And no, and like I had to drag her because she was so nervous to meet him. And I was like, he's like the nicest dude. I was like, why are you so worried? And she started crying, and then he came over and he's like, don't cry. Like, I love it. I love it. So another cool thing, so I want to talk about is the GCW Patreon. So, I mean, if people aren't aware by now, you know, if someone's like just tuning in now for the first time, maybe they don't know you. You know, maybe you can give a little bit to the people of, you know, your podcast that you do on there.
Yeah, so me and someone by the name of Stephen A, a good friend of mine. He's a little outlandish, a little into the conspiracies and the drama of this world's stuff. Mm-hmm. We run a podcast for GCW that's about deathmatch wrestling. We talk about it. We throw our opinions. We do some little side talk. I think it's a good time. You know, at times we get a little wild, you know, but I mean, who doesn't? It's
Yeah.
podcasting. It's always, as I say, it's people's opinions, and you know, it's all in fun and all to have a good time. And sometimes I like to ruffle some feathers just to twist people's licorice sticks a little bit.
You do. It's pretty entertaining. I've sat in cars with Brad, and he's played, and he's like, "Oh my god, you gotta listen to this." I'm like, "Oh boy." So definitely subscribe to that if you're not. Love it to the chat. Little Louie, Low Life Louie's son.
Yes.
He goes, yo, brother Alex, if you had one last match and one last opponent, who would it be, and what stipulation would you want the match to be?
I've already wrestled Homicide, but if I got to have one last match, I might say him, because he's just somebody that I looked up to even before I got into the business. As a fan, it was like, if there was somebody I wanted to be like that I could kind of, I guess, relate to, it was Homicide. Like, you know, just being Puerto Rican, having that kind of, living that life, you know,
Yeah.
rice, beans, chicken, you know what I mean? Being out in the streets with your friends balling, acting a fool,
Yeah.
you know, acting like you think you're thuggish, ruggish and shit. But like, that's just, he reminded me of people I was friends with in school, just like just crazy dudes that were just ready to throw down at any time. And they just drew me to him, because I was like, that's just, you know, I mean, that's like a group of people I would hang out with. That's somebody that I would probably be like my cousin or something.
Yeah.
And he's just a veteran in this business. He's somebody I look up to, and he's just one of the best, man. And I feel like there could be nobody other than him, and even some of my friends, you know, Schlack, Eric Ryan, those guys, like, if I got to wrestle any of those guys, and then you throw Homicide in there for a last match, that's what I would want. But I promise myself, when I have a last match, no one's gonna know it's my last match. I'm just gonna have the match, and then that's it. No one's gonna know. That's my goal, literally. Because we can't do this forever. Deathmatch wrestling is great, and you have Nick Gage. He's still doing it. He's older than me. But for me personally, like, having a daughter, and I want to be able to try to live a life after deathmatch wrestling. So it's like, when it's my time to go, I'm probably not going to let anyone know it's my last match. And I know there'll be promoters who'll be like, you need to say this as you let know. I don't. I'm just going to have it. I'm like, not take any more bookings. Thanks for the time, and peace. So, I mean, that's the way I want to go. I want to kind of go under the covers. I don't want anyone to see me leaving. I just want to leave.
Matt Awesome's in the chat. He goes, what's good, brother? Hope all is well, man. Gotta bring you coquito next time. And then he says, hashtag
please.
Puerto Rican power.
Please.
Oh man, his coquito is good.
Yeah,
it's good.
I have to, see, you can't say that, because my mom's makes good coquito, and it's like, I didn't get to go. I didn't get to stop by the house, because she's literally on the way to Atlantic City, so I could just hop off of the expressway for 2 minutes, pick something up, and then hop back on, and I'm in Atlantic City in like 35 minutes. So I didn't get to stop through this coming season. And he was talking about coquito, and AJ Gray's over there running around like, oh, got coquito. Like, what? You're not even Puerto Rican, bro. How are you? Nah, that ain't fair. So y'all already know what it is. You know what you got to bring me when you can.
Just everybody, just bring it to him. Just bring it. It doesn't need to be Christmas or whatever. Just bring it. So, but yeah, Matt Watson's is good. He brought me some, over a year ago, I think it was. So I got to bring him cookies. So
gotta make it happy. I gotta be the judge. I gotta be the judge, jury, and executioner, because because I am a savant of coquito. So we're about to find out.
Oh damn! Can I like film this for the channel? Because that'd be fun. I feel like that you ask your mom to bring some or whatever, and then like I'm like, okay, we're gonna have some judges here. We'll get some judges and see. Like,
She's the hookup during the Christmas season. She's always like she'll just have like wine bottles everywhere. I'm like, Mom, why do you have wine bottles all over the house? Because she's just making coquito for everybody, like
Yeah.
making her money. It's crazy.
I love it. There was another question. Where is it? John Campbell's in chat. He goes, "What's the dream match, and what was his hardest match he was in?"
I don't know if I have a dream match per se anymore. Like my dream match as a young wrestler was Homicide. I got to wrestle him in GCW, which was really awesome. Him giving me his bandana at the end of the match was like, I don't know if you can ask for anything else. Just the amount of respect, like for somebody like that to just like give you a piece of him like that was crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I really have a dream match anymore per se. And dream matches are such a tough. I don't know how people like honestly answer those type of questions because being in the business for 15 years, like I've wrestled everybody and anybody I could think of. So yeah, like I've already had my dream match. So it's more so enjoying these last few years as a professional wrestler. Hardest match, probably one that I did horribly in. So I wrestled Chris Dickinson one time. And I could just remember him screaming at me because the match wasn't going well. I was not in whatever shape I needed to be in. And I just remember me and him talking before the match. He was like, "Yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be good. So we haven't worked each other," and it just did not go well. And I just felt so bad because it was like disappointing. It was like disappointing an older cousin or something. It's like, oh man, like I should have knew better. But we talked after that. He was like, it was what it was. Yeah, I mean that's wrestling. Not everybody's gonna click a certain way, and it's understandable. The guy is a professional though.
Yeah.
I can't help but like admire his skills in the ring. Like he truly is one of the best. That's why I mean I put people over, but I put Chris over huge because I just think like when it comes to like that all Japanese style, like he's exactly what that is as an American. Like he's the best representative I feel like we have when it comes to like wrestling guys like Minoru Suzuki and all those dudes. Like I'd put Chris up against any of them guys. Like he's one of the best.
Yeah, he's so great. Rob Craig's in the chat. He goes, "A big thanks to go out for putting together the Takeda benefit. I love seeing the Deathmatch family reach out to help each other in times of need. Anything you could sneak preview or tease." Well, we talked about it earlier. So, he gave like a whole list of things.
It's coming.
Yeah.
I'm putting a Bloodfighter jersey up for auction too.
Oh.
So everybody be on the lookout because I know people are always asking me how do I get them? Like get on the internet and start searching, find yourself a Chinese manufacturing company and start pumping them things out. Because that's your boy's searching. So I'm gonna put one of them up. I'll sign it. If somebody wants me to personalize it, I'll personalize it, signing it. So that'll be up for auction. I have I was telling Steve, I think. I have a Takeda hat literally from when he started wrestling. It was like one of his first reversal hats because he does a collaboration with a MMA company called Reversal. So they do his shorts and stuff, and he'll have special T-shirts and hats that are Reversal sponsored. So I have one of his first hats from Reversal. I think it was like 2013 or 14. It might have even been before then, maybe 2012. I've had that hat for a very long time, and I'm going to put it up in auction. Hopefully, you can get some good money for it because it is, honestly, it's a relic of his, like, wrestling history. So I have a lot of great items going up for auction. I have a Danny Havoc item going up for auction, too. I haven't spoken about it yet. GCW weekend's coming up, so somebody who's close to his mother-in-law, or actually his brother-in-law, is the one who reached out and said, "Hey, I have this. It's like a scarf talish thing, and it was from Oktoberfest in Japan, and I think he had it around the time where he wrestled Takeda. Like it was around that same tour, and it's this Oktoberfest like towel thingamajig that I'm gonna put up for auction that I'll probably bid on myself and see if I can help raise that bid up some." Because I honestly want it too, so I'm gonna play it fair and square.
There you go.
Look, I ain't rolling in money, but yeah, if I have that merch money, y'all better watch out because it will be mine.
Go buy his merch. Buy it.
I mean, Buy my merch. Also, I've been talking. I talked to Marcus Crane's girlfriend Angel. She talked to his family, and they were talking about wanting to put his riot shield up for auction too in the auction. So that might be going up. I'm gonna reach out to them within the next week so I can double confirm, and that may be something you will see in the auction as well, which I will probably bid on that as well too.
You're gonna see he wins everything.
I'm not gonna win everything. I don't have that much money, but I want us all to come together
Of
and
course.
like really raise some money for the
Yeah.
guys. So everybody, bring your wallets. Don't be cheap. I get it. We all trust me. I have a day job too, but I'm sure everyone can find $100, $200 in their savings somewhere, because there's gonna be a lot of stuff that honestly I think people are gonna want. I have some Sick Nick Mondo stuff signed. Just gonna be so much stuff. Like
It's gonna be an all-day
it's gonna come
thing.
out within the coming week or two. It's gonna come out, and then on the 22nd we're gonna auction everything off to some good homes.
Awesome.
So let's go, everyone.
Let's get ready. Get your wallets. Matt Awesome says, if you don't like it, I'll take a light tube. Damn, that's wow. And I know Matt does not want to do anything deathmatchy. The most that he's done was Legos, and I know he bitched about that.
You ever step on like a micro machine or something? Things hurt.
But I know he wasn't going to be doing any light tubes or anything. So if he's telling you, you know, if you don't like his coquito, that you could hit him with a light tube. Damn. Wow.
That's rough.
Wow. It's serious. So
I mean, he's putting a top rating on that coquito.
I
right
know.
Now. He better label that joint. I better see a custom label on it. It's the Michelin star of coquito.
Dawn's in the chat. She goes, "What's your worst injury you ever had?"
I had one after Danny Havoc's initial retirement match where we did the Spanish fly off the ladder. I kind of landed on the top of my head, but also my hand got cut up real bad, which later on in the hospital caused me to go into shock for a second.
Oh wow.
Which is never a good thing. It was pretty scary. But my hand was like literally like split wide open, and I have a pretty big scar. Like I'll probably show you next time you're at a show, but I have a pretty big scar on my right hand. Outside of that, the only other major injury, and I don't know if I have wood around here because I always tempt myself every time I talk about it. I've torn my left AC joint twice, and I've kind of separated my one joint in my shoulder one time, but that's something that you can't honestly fix. You have to let it kind of heal on its own.
Oh, wow.
But outside of that, knock on wood, I haven't broken any bones, and I've dislocated my one finger at Masters of Pain halfway through the match and finished the match with a dislocated finger, and then drove 3 hours back home and then went to my hospital to have it put back into place. But you know,
Ow!
that's just yeah. I dislocated it halfway through the match at Masters of Pain. Finished the match with a dislocated finger, basically using my one arm. Got out the ring, somehow got the glove off my hand with a dislocated finger, wrapped it up, buddy bandaged it to the other finger, hopped in a car, drove 3 hours back to Dayton area, and then went to the hospital 10 minutes from me.
My goodness.
Hopped in another car, went to the hospital 10 minutes, and then they just reload, undislocated it, or however you say it.
Oof, put it
it
back.
into place. Yeah.
Oof, my God, man! Like, you know, imagine like stopping at the drive-through and like your hands out the window, dislocate. Yeah, I'll take a shake. like hanging out.
Yeah.
Like, no. Matt said, "Listen, Homicide, Low Key, Dan Moth, AJ Gray, Alley Catch, and Too Cold Scorpio love the coquito. So, LOL." Damn.
I mean, there it is.
There it is.
Yeah, Scorp likes it. I know it's got to be real.
Cody in the chat says, "You're a true professional, Alex, for always being a true professional and always doing business right. I have nothing but respect for workers that make up bookings that they end up missing." Low Life Louis' son, Louis says, "Alex Cologne versus Low Life Louis 2.
I'm in. Louis already knows I'm in, so that ain't even a thing. Whenever Louis is ready, I'm ready.
There you go. Okay, so let's do a positive. I know I told you a little bit about this before. So I like wrestling with positivity is dear to my heart. Anybody that listens to this podcast knows that I ask this every person that comes onto this podcast. With all that negative, we focus on the positive. So I've actually finished my project too. It's going up on Valentine's Day. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you can see that video as well. So, I'm going to ask you, is there anything that sticks out to you, whether it was something you've done for a fan, maybe you've done something for a wrestler, maybe a fan's done for you, maybe a wrestler's done for you, something positive that a normal fan wouldn't know that, that had happened?
I'm trying to think. I mean, not that anything that fans don't, because fans are always normally blessed. Like, I have fans that'll bless me with action figures, because as everybody knows, I'm a action figure aficionado. I'm looking for that Goon figure. Any of you guys see it at your local Wally Mart, hit me up. I'll send you some merch. I'm always weird about when it comes to people giving me gifts and stuff. That's one thing I can say. Like, a lot of fans will always like hook me up with stuff, but I always get weird about that. And 9 times out of 10, I always end up giving fans merch or something signed. I'm always the type of person, if you're giving me something, I feel like I have to give you something back. I don't know if it's like the I'm not Japanese, but it's like the Japanese spirit in me is like, if you give me a present, I have to give you one back at some point, which is what I love about a lot of the Japanese wrestlers is like, if you give them a gift, 9 times out of 10, the next time you see them around the way, they'll give you a gift. It's just like a brother type of thing. But like with fans, it falls with the same thing. Like I have Dorito and Rosenberg and all those guys hook me up all the time with stuff they find. They're like, here's a gift, and then I'm always hooking them up as well. So I can't think of any specific instances, so to speak. I wish I was a way better person and had more glorified stories to tell you, but I don't. Maybe because I try to be a good person 24/7 and not just for specific moments.
No, because sometimes like things like, like comes into the brain that something happened that could be like the most smallest thing that's like such a positive. Like I said, I like to focus on the positive because there is so much negative or whatever. So there's always like, I feel like very blessed that, again, like between working in podcast and, getting to be able to be backstage with a lot of you guys and, doing stuff backstage, and I see a lot. And a lot of people don't get to see that, like I get to see it. So that's why I like to bring that light into, podcast land pretty much.
I hear that. Something that you just saying that like did bring to my attention. I've had a couple fans come up to me and just like express to me like how much whatever it is I do in the ring, I guess like helps them in life. Like if I've had fans reach out to me and tell me that they've had times in their life where they wanted to commit suicide, and just like watching me live my dream and watching me in the ring just motivates them to want to not do that and want to do better things with themselves in life in general. And I've had stories like that, not just with the whole suicide thing, because I don't like to talk about that type of stuff, but like just people like going through depression and having hard times in life and just telling me, hey, like watching you wrestle like helped me out in some way, and that to me is important, because I've had people come up to me and say stuff like that, and it's like sometimes I don't know how to react to that, and I wish I had a better reaction, like a more embracing reaction. And the best I can do is just keep trying to live my dream, because I know like somebody's looking at me for inspiration, which I don't want to be a role model for anybody, because I feel like we should all like take ourselves into accountability and do better for ourselves, and not have to look to somebody else to be like, hey, I need to do better because this person is doing better. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like, if I see something I'm doing is affecting somebody positively, I want to keep trying to do as many positive things as I can do, because like as you can tell, being on social media all the time, it isn't helping anybody's self-esteem out. So, so like I want to at least do my best to help people out, at least in some type of way. I'm a very helpful person, as you can tell.
Yeah. No, like I said, this is something that, I like to incorporate, because we see so much negative. And again, like the stories, even something like that, like, that's a very meaningful, like that somebody feels that way, like that they can reach out to you, like, you helped me through this, like we do, like we, especially like someone like me. I mean, I have my own health issues, and like, I feel like wrestling's my escape. that I don't have to sit here and think about the issues that I have, you know, that it's like I could have those moments of like an hour or 3 hours to just have fun, you know, and not think about, you know, issues, you know, or being in pain all the time, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I tell everybody, don't waste time. Don't. I tell people at my shoot job all the time because where I work, there's a lot of people who are in college. There's a lot of younger people, guys, girls, so forth and so forth. And they're working at a job, and it's no offense to my shoot job. I'm just like, you guys need to be doing more with your life. Like, if you're young, go out there and get it. Like, hustle, do whatever you have to do to like do something that you're gonna love to do. Like,
Right.
I suffered having to work a shoot job and deal with the minimum wage dependencies that this government roasts upon me, but I get to wrestle and live that part of my dream, and I get to share it with everyone else. So I feel like this is a journey that more so isn't just me, it's sharing it with all you guys.
Yeah.
So I tell everyone, don't squander your time, use it wisely. Because, like, I was once 23, just breaking into the wrestling business. I broke in kind of late, 23. And time flew. Time really flew. So I get to meet all these younger wrestlers that are 18. And I'm like, you have so much time. Like, make use of that time. And not even in wrestling, obviously, as I was saying in my shoot job, it's like I tell the younger folk, like, hey, use your time to the best of your abilities. And if you can't think of anything, find something. Like, there's got to be something out there you want. So go after it, because time literally is of the essence.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's great stuff. You know, it's funny you bring up, like, you know, again, like these young kids, whatever, which is crazy. And a bunch of them, they've been on this podcast, you know. So, you know, for people out there, like, in your opinion, who should we all be looking out for? Like, who do you think is like the ones like coming up that we really should be keeping tabs on?
Tons of young people. They got to get their heads out their rears. No, I've had wrestlers when I was 2 years in the business. They'd be like, "You're good, but you have to get your head out your ass." Mm-hmm. And I feel like I kind of understand that now.
Yeah.
You know, Marcus Mathers, Billy, young Billy, Yo-Ya, Janai. There's so much young talent coming in. Nick Wayne, I love Nick Wayne.
Oh yeah.
Nick Bruce Wayne is one of my favorites. He's just a joy to be around with, and he's only going to get better, and he's already good. So it's crazy. Jordan Oliver is fairly young too. Yeah. I like his his senpai Kohei relationship with Nick Wayne, even though they're both young as balls. Yeah. It makes me laugh. I'm like, both of you guys, get out of here. Like, how many years apart do you guys have? 2? Like, I'm 37 years old. Come talk to me. But like, those groups of people, I feel like they have so much time and they're so good already. Yeah. Yo-Ya, get your act together. I always tell him all the time, he has so much potential. He's not leaning into that potential. Like, and I've been there. It's like you're worried about helping everybody else, which is fine, but at some point you have to worry about yourself as well, because unfortunately it's a selfish business. If you don't have yourself in mind to some degree, you're going to get left in the dust. So he'll learn. Yeah. But, and there's obviously people I'm not naming. There's tons of the H2O students who have so much potential. They just have to find themselves more. And that just comes with experience. Like, all the people I've named are really good, and people that I haven't named that I see on a regular basis, all you guys are really good. Some have found themselves more so than others, but the potential is only going to grow from here on out. Like, I feel like until you are 15 years in the business, over 10 years in the business, you really haven't scratched the surface of who you are when it comes to being in the ring and being whatever character you are, whatever person you are when it comes to wrestling aspects. And that's something that they'll gain in experience and time.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, it's funny because like I had like one last question. It was pretty much going to be like, a piece of advice for, anything updated. Because I know I always end my podcast off like that, and you gave some advice the last time and you kind of did. I mean, I don't know if there's anything else that you want to touch base on, like, for those people that just starting to train or thinking about getting into training.
Yeah. If you're gonna do it, go all in. Uh, uh Something I tell two guys I know really well, who I'm gonna shout out on this podcast.
Mhm.
Kevin Geese, Ace Perry, are two guys I feel
Yes.
like have massive amounts of potential, and they're from the Midwest. And I always tell them their biggest detriment is they like staying home too much. They like staying close to the Midwest area. You
Yeah.
have to, if you want to be successful in wrestling, you have to go where the action is. The action's not coming to you. You have to go there. You have to literally take whatever time you have and fully immerse yourself in this. If you're looking to become a professional wrestler and you just want to do it, because it's something to have fun, that's fine. But make sure you understand that fully before you fully engage every piece of yourself into it, because someday you'll regret. You know what I mean? You don't want to regret. You don't want to wake up and be like, man, there was a time I thought about maybe I could take this more seriously because somebody said this, but I decided that I was just doing this to have fun. Just like people have told me in the past, if you're in a company and you don't want to be number one, you need to reevaluate what you're doing in that company. Just like in wrestling, if you're not in it 100%, you're not in it because you want to be the top guy somewhere, because you want to make money, you want to make a living off of this, you want to have belts, you want to be famous to some degree, which is a very shallow thing to say, but to be honest, it's professional wrestling. It's like TV.
Right.
You're trying to be famous to some degree. Then you need to sit down and reevaluate this if this is what you want to do. And if you're sure this is what you want to do, then I suggest you put your foot to that gas and you do whatever it takes to be seen. And always remember, go to where the action is, take your opportunities, see the world every chance you get. If there's a chance for you to hop in a car, hop in that car. If there's a chance that you could shell out some money to hop on a plane and stay somewhere for a week or two and learn across the seas, do it. Like, whatever chance you can take it, because it'll pay off in the end. Trust me, I know. And I've squandered a lot of opportunities too, but I have taken some. And the ones that I've taken have paid off. And the ones that I haven't taken, I will always regret till after I'm done wrestling. So definitely take every opportunity to make whatever dream you're trying to make come true. That's it.
That's great advice. Great advice. I love
It's
it.
real advice.
No, it is. It
Real.
is. So, like, I mean, it's great because we do have those fans that, just started training or they're thinking about getting into it. Like, there's a bunch that, so I always say, even to some of the students, like I tell them all the time, I'm like, my interviews with a lot of people that I come on here, like it's beneficial as a whole. Because I was like, I get to sit here, I get to talk with my favorite wrestlers, but some of the stuff that I ask, it benefits for so many different people, the fans, the wrestlers, that they can learn off for you, because there's always fans in here like Sky who will take notes and take everything that you say very seriously and to help them grow better, so that's why I always say that I like doing these interviews. I was just talking with Ryan Redfield, shout out to him, like we were just talking about that yesterday, and I was telling him, I was like, you should watch like this particular interview with this particular person, I would say, because I was like, you learn a lot. I was like, I learned a lot, and I'm not even in the business, I'm just the podcast girl who gets to sit here and talk with you guys, so but it's really good stuff, and you're really real. Chris in the chat says, when's Cologne versus Murdoch 2? I was at the first one, so good. The gusset 2x4 spot was wild.
Hopefully soon. We'll see. He's been calling me out, but it's like, yeah, of course you're calling me out. I'm not even supposed to be in the country, so we'll see what happens. This is only the start of this story, so we'll see where the roads take us. I'm definitely not done with him yet, and he's definitely not done with me yet, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So, what do you got coming up? I have a couple of posters, but you busy, man. Like, you like, so I only,
I'm trying.
I only
what
have.
did I tell you? Take your opportunities. Sky's listening, Sky. If this is what you want to do, every chance you get, take it. If you get a chance to go overseas, take it. If you get a chance to go to another city to a show, even if you're not on it, take it. You get a chance to learn from somebody who's been in it for a few years, take it. Because that's the only way you're going to make it. Right?
Yeah. Agreed.
So that's what I'm doing. So, that's why I'm so booked up. Like, people, I get, my worst detriment is I I agree to do podcasts, and sometimes they slip my mind, and I feel so bad. And then people get so mad at me. I'm like, I don't, I'm like, I'm just so, I have so much going on,
Yeah.
like
I
cheap job,
I'd be a
family.
nuisance.
It's rough. It's rough.
I'd be a nuisance. I check in. I'm like,
Yeah, I
just
know.
checking
No,
in.
I told
I
you
know. Yeah.
specifically.
Yeah.
I'm like, you have to remind me because it will slip. I'll get busy like running
Yeah.
around with Lily playing Candyland or
Yeah.
something,
Aw.
or like doing something on the computer that
Yeah.
like, or I'll be doing laundry, something ridiculous,
Yeah.
and then it'll just slip my mind, and then you'll hit me up 2 hours later and be pissed off at me, and it's like it's better if you remind me
No, no.
a bunch
I'll
before it comes up.
never be pissed off of you. I just appreciate that you take the time to do this podcast with me. Like I can't, like I said, I thank you so much, like coming on, chatting with me for a little hour. I know like you're very busy, like I said, so again, thank you. But yeah, so give us some. I have, again, like the only flyers that I have up here is, we got Sean's shows coming up next weekend. It's going to be crazy. I got the GCW going on, and then we have Jimmy's birthday, event
Yeah,
too.
Jim,
Like,
hey Jimmy Lloyd, you better mother effing pay. Wait, dude, am I? And I didn't ask Jimmy Lloyd this. I hate that I'm putting his business.
oh wait,
out
let's
to the
tag
world.
him. Wait,
But listen,
we should tag him and like, let's.
Jimmy Lloyd is the most Jimmy Lloyd will ever be, because I agreed to do this show. I didn't talk to him about getting any money, so what's gonna happen is Jimmy Lloyd's gonna be like, I don't have. I don't know if I can pay you, Alex. It was my birthday. I thought you were gonna do this for my birthday. I'm like, great, Jimmy, but you got to go into Wawa, and these are the things I need. Because, listen, Jimmy is not rich, okay? And he's gonna pull this on me, and I'm gonna be like, man, I'm not making any money on the show. How am I gonna eat? And I'm gonna force Jimmy to buy me food on his birthday, which is horrible. But listen to me, people, all right? I'm putting my body on the line for his birthday, so I gotta get something out of this.
The Wawa up the block from H2O that has that. Remember when I walked in and I was making a face at you because the coffee was disgusting? Like.
It's a small Wawa. You gotta go to a bigger one. I
gotta go to the nicer one that's like on the way from when I come from New York, because there's that big one on the main strip, but then you got that little baby Wawa, and like I was so cold that day, and I walked in, I'm like making sour face, and I'm like, throw the shit out. I was like, ew, it was disgusting. But yeah, you're busy. Like, again, like just some of what is coming up within like the next couple of weeks. Like, well, I should just say next weekend, pretty much. You are busy.
Yeah. I mean, the sad part is a lot of times things will end up coming up within the month. So I have, and I'm looking in my calendar right now so I can give specific dates otherwise. But yeah, I have the big weekend coming up. Obviously not this weekend, but next weekend I will be at Jimmy Lloyd's show, aka his birthday bash, aka Jimmy's gonna buy me Wawa on Thursday the 17th. And then I will be back and forth from Henderson's to GCW, hoping H2O is running a show this weekend.
Yes, but it's at Atlantic City. It's
so
it's
maybe
in the show
you might see me there too as well, because I do not fly back into Dayton till Monday morning, so I will probably be at the H2O show as well, just if anything hanging out. And outside of that, I don't really have anything set in stone. I do have TNT, where I will be wrestling Clint Margera on the 10th. I will be hopefully winning a title and bringing it back to America. And then in April, I will be at Deathmatch Down Under in Australia for a bunch of dates. And then I will come back home for a couple days, and I will leave for England again at the end of April into the first weekend of May. And then from there, it's TOS season.
Yes, so where he wins a fourth time.
And piss a lot of people off in the process.
Well, you won't piss me off. I'm here with it.
Listen to me. As long as I can see a couple people in the crowd going, yeah, that's all I need. The rest of boo. Listen, it was getting that way with Atticus in the last one. It was like, man, it's looking 50-50 right now.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, whatever. What do you think John Cena cries about winning titles? People boo that all the time. Yeah. But he would still win them titles, so I'm gonna still go in there and take my crown. It's just the way it's gonna be.
Cody asks in the chat, will you be back at Time Bomb Pro this year?
Not that I know of, but Eric knows my social media. Eric, hit me up if you're listening. If you're not, hit up Time Bomb Pro. Tell him you want to see me. I'm sure me and Eric can talk and work something out. I would love to come back to the Dakotas and perform for Time Bomb Pro. They're a class act. So let's make it happen.
Awesome. Again, power of social media, guys. Definitely hit it up. You know,
Yes.
get them booked.
People
everywhere.
don't get it. They're like, we're fans. It doesn't know. It's 2022. Trust me. Promoters want fans to want to ask for people because then it's like it brings it to their attention. It's like, man, this person wants to see Alex. It's like I'm saying, I'm going to England, so if enough people hop on the I want to see Alex bandwagon and I'm going to come to the show if Alex is there, then they're going to be in my DMs like, yeah, hey, what do we got to do to get you here? All right, let's work something out. Instead of me having to, hey, sir, can I offer you some cookies, but can I get on your show too? Like, it's 2022. Let's upgrade a little bit. Let's help me out. All right, let's help me show up so I can perform in front of you guys and go wild.
It works. It works. I always
do.
Like I said at the beginning of this interview, I was like, I had Alex on and I wanted to see him in Akira, and I remember clipping that shit and posting it. But like, that's what I do too. That's why I like manifesting matches on this podcast as well, because sometimes it works. Sometimes it actually happens. I mean, Abs was on here. He wanted to do his first death match with Casanova, and Casanova hit him up. So it's like, you don't know. So put it out. Put it out into the world, put it out into the clouds, as I call it. So, but Alex, again, like, I can't thank you enough for coming here, taking your time out to chat with me and the fans and everything like that. You know, you're amazing. I can't wait to see. I'll see you obviously next weekend at Sean shows in GCW. I'll be there Friday. I can't make to the Thursday show, but I will be there Friday and Saturday and Sunday for H2O. So I'll definitely can say hi. But so tell everybody where they could follow you, buy some merch, all that fun stuff.
Obviously you could go on Deathmatch Worldwide for my merch, for your Alex Cologne merch needs, or you can hit me up in the DMs because I still do have some Hammerstein shirts left I'm trying to get rid of before I put out the other color variant on Deathmatch Worldwide. So this one, once it's gone, and then you'll have to deal with whatever crazy colors I put out on the Deathmatch Worldwide site. You can also hit me up in my DMs. I'm always down to send people merch if they want to buy some. I'm on Twitter, AlexCologne0139. You can also catch me on the IG at AlexCologne003. And I'm not hard to find. If you try to get me on Facebook, good luck. I might get back to you. But Twitter and IG are going to be your best bets to get a hold of me for stuff. So thank you for having me on. It was fun as usual.
Yes, thank you. And bring the man some coquito, okay? Like
yes, please. Let's go. I gotta see what it's about.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. So again, like I said, this Monday I have the Wrestling with Positivity video coming out. I'll be at Chaotic Wrestling tomorrow, and I'll be at Titan for Steve Mack's show. So if you're there, come say hi, and I'll definitely have backstage videos for both those promotions as well. And I'll be backstage with H2O next week too, so I'll have more stuff out. Danny Miles is coming on Tuesday, so definitely check out and hit that subscribe button. So, but for now, guys, have a good night, stay safe, support independent wrestling, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good night.
Adios.